Hi everyone, welcome back to the tutorial. My name is Muhammad Amir and you are watching Motion Studio. In this series, we are going to recreate some logo animations that some great artists have already done. I have collected some example from Pinterest. In the last episode, we have created this animation. If you have not watched the tutorial, make sure to go ahead and watch that tutorial. So today's episode, we are going to create this animation. Before any further discussion, let's jump into After Effects. Alright, now I'm in After Effects and I will import my idea to animation here and I will simply drag this to the new composition icon. So we have the same size comp. First, I will analyze the animation. It start from right here. I will add a mark and I will go through frame by frame and its end something like here. So I will add another marker. So first we need to trace this text and then we will create the animation. For this I will simply open the text tool and I will type WEDO and then the dot. For the color I will use the same as in the example, black color. I think this look good. So roughly I am adjusting the scale. Now we have the text. I will lock the idea animation so we will not mess up. I will select the text and right click, then go to the create and create shape from text. Now we have everything inside this shape layer. We need to separate all the letters on its own layer. For that purpose I am using a script. You can duplicate this and then open the content and you can delete like W in this layer. You can do it by manually, but I like to use the script because it make the work faster. Go to the file, script, and I have ZL explode shape layer. Once I click, I have separated all the letters on its individual layers. We don't need this text, we don't need the shape layer. Let's rename all the letters. Something like this. I will manually adjust them. Before this, I will change the color so we can see what we are doing. First, we need to adjust the W. For this, I will click on this little icon that says toggle mask and shape path visibility. I will turn it on. So now we have our path. Since the layer have blue color on both sides, so we cannot see the path exactly. So I will select all the layers and change the color to something like maybe orange. Now I will select the W. You can see here is the path. So we need to modify this path to match this logo shape. For this, I will simply double click on the layer so I have the access of the path. I will adjust it manually. Since this is the example, so we don't need to make everything 100% match. If you want, you can spend more time on this section, but I think I need to delete these path frames and maybe this one, and finally this one. Alright, we have the perfect W. I will center the frame. Now it is time to work on the letter E. For this, first I like to select everything by double clicking on any of the nodes. and I'm trying to match the size roughly something like this. And I will select this frame. Maybe we need to have some adjustment on this side. Perfect. We need to lower this one as well. All right, we have the letter E. Now we need to work on the letter D. For this, again, I am aligning the path. All right, we have the letter D. Now it is time to work on the letter O. So once again, I will double click on the path. And like this, we have the letter O. And finally, we have this dot. All right, we have traced everything. I think we are good to go for the animation part. First, we will animate this little dot. For this, I will open the position property and set a keyframe and move across the time. So we have an exact position of this dot at the end. And for the beginning, I will set it somewhere around here and move few frames forward to match the animation. Don't worry about this line, we will fix this later. The second frame should move here. I will simply trace this movement frame by frame. Something like this. Then we will go forward few frames. And again we need a curve, something like this. Alright, now we will open the pen tool and start making adjustment on the path. If you hold the command key, so you can drag this point individually. Now we need to smooth out these all the curves like this. Go back in time and see if our path is working fine. Alright, it's worked fine, but we need to adjust the easing. We will do this part later. We need to pay attention on this area as well. Something like this. I'm quite happy with the dot animation. Let me just quickly save this project. If you want the project file, you can go to my patreon.com/motionstudio69 and you can download this project file as well as some other project file that I already have uploaded. So I'm happy with the dot. Let's work on this W. For this we need to redraw another path. I will set the fill to none and stroke. Perfect. We have this path. Maybe we need to make it a little thicker, something like this. Now I will rename this to W mask and I will open the content properties of this. First I like to go into the stroke, and from here I like round cap and I like round joints. So we have a shape something like this. In this path we need to add a trim path modifier so we can adjust the starting and ending points. So I will make a keyframe on the end and press the letter U to reveal the keyframes. Maybe we will turn it down a bit so we can clearly see. Alright, I will turn off the W so we can see what's happening. So it starts from here and its end right there. I will add another keyframe here. I will set 0 here. It is something like this. I will crank up the opacity and turn on the W layer and then go to the track matte. If you did not see this track matte, you can press the letter F4. So from here I will select alpha matte, and if I solo this, you can see it's going something like this. Perfect. Now we have done working with the letter W, so I will change the color pink so we understand that we have done working on this layer. Also this dot I will change to pink and allow this. Right. Now we have this letter E. It is very simple animation. Let's go up here. I will open the guidelines and I will set a key layer. I will set a guideline here and the second is here. So I will simply select this rectangle tool and turn on the fill. Any color, it doesn't matter. We just need the mask. and I will simply draw a shape like this. And I will rename this E mask and move this above the letter E. I think we need some adjustments. Maybe this mask need to move down a bit right there. So I will again set alphabet. We have the letter E. And for this, we just need a position. So here is the final position. I will press the letter P for the position, set a keyframe here, and go back few frames and move it up like this. Maybe down a bit, something like this. And let's go back in time right there and simply drag this layer out. Perfect. Now we have this letter E. Don't worry about the spacing, we will adjust all the E's at the end. Something like this. Now we have the letter D. For the letter D, I think we need to separate the letter D into two separate layers. First I will turn it on and I will select the letter D and hit Command D for the duplicate. This is D1, this is D2. D2 is this part and D1 is this part. So first let's work on the D1. For this I will open the content properties, select the letter D, then I will go to the letter D again. We have two paths, one is right there. I will delete this path, and for this I think I will also delete this one, and this one. So we have a straight line, something like this. That's what we want. So for this again we are using the same technique over and over. I will select the pen tool, turn off the fill, turn on the stroke, any color doesn't matter, and let's make a line something like this to cover up the entire letter D. And I will set D1 mask, and let's move this above the letter D. Alright, now select mask and go to the path property and add trim path modifier. I will turn this letter off for a moment so we can see clearly what we are doing. Also I will set no track matte, turn on this layer. Maybe we need to turn down the opacity so we can see what's going behind. Let me open the trim path properties inside this mask. Here it is. Again we like to play with the end value. So around here I will set a keyframe and I will go back in the time and set this keyframe to 0. It's something like this. Perfect. Now we are ready to set the alpha matte. Here we go. Perfect. I will crank the opacity to 100% again. Okay, now we need to work on this path. So for this I will solo the letter D2 and quickly I will select these path points and also these two bottom. Press the letter delete and we'll adjust these handles a bit. Perfect. For this I will analyze the animation. Here is the end. I will set anchor point right on this spot. And we can do this in two ways. We can play with the scale properties, or we can play with the path properties. So I like to play with the scale. So I will uncheck this scale chain so we can individually modify X and Y. So I'll select keyframe right there. We need to turn it down the opacity a bit so we can see what's moving behind. On this frame, I will simply move it something like this. And also we need to play with the path on this letter D. So I will select pen tool and add some more points and just something like this. So I'm quite happy with the results. I think I will solo this D2 and D1. Let's see what we have. So I think we need to cut this right there. So for this you can press the option and the bracket of which direction you want to cut this. Something like this. Okay. Alright, now what we have is the letter O. It is very simple. It land right here. I will turn on the letter O and I will set it to match something like this. So I will open the position, set a keyframe, go back in the time, frame by frame, and on this frame you can move up this and you can again trim the layer, something like this. So we have this. Perfect. For the color we will use the fill property, or you can keyframe this color value. The easiest way is the fill property. So I will set fill for this layer. I will go ahead and set a keyframe and change the color to black. Then I will move up right here, set another fill keyframe, move up, and we will select this color directly from here. Then we will move up again and set the black color. We'll move again and set this red color, move up, another keyframe. Maybe we need to set another keyframe right here and then another keyframe having black values, something like this. So let's solo this letter and see what we got. Perfect. I will change the preview to auto and no keyframes. Let's see what we have. Now I will unsolo this letter O and I will turn off this idea so we can only focus on the animation that we have created. Something like this. We have the rough animation, and for the colors now I will change everything to the pink color. For the mask I will select all the mask and change the color to something maybe green so we can understand these are the mask values. For the other letters I will go and change the color to black right here. Perfect. Now we need to animate the motion lines. For this, I will be using the technique with the grid layers. So first I will clear all the guides, and also I will select everything right here and lock it up so we will not mess up with the things. First we have this line. For this I will open the pen tool, turn off the fill color and change the stroke to something like 2 pixel maybe. We will experiment with the width and other things later. Here we are. Okay, perfect. But we need to round these start and end points. For this you can type caps right there, and you can change this to something like this. For the shortcut that I use, I have installed this Mobar. This is a very great third-party script that allows you to simply click and perform some D functions, that like you need to open the layer and go on and then select the option. Other than you will simply select the layer, and I have this called favorite things here. So I will simply click and this will perform the action. So choice is yours, what you like in your workflow. If we will see, we have three different lines. So this one is black, but we are not worried about the other small lines. We will adjust them later. For this, I will rename this motion line 1, and let's go again in the time and see what we need. We need a layer right this line. So this is the maximum height of this, so I will set a guideline right here. Then we will go in time and see this line needs to start from here. So I'm making some guidelines to follow the animation. So here it's the ending position. Also here is the down position. Perfect. We have our grid. Now we need to trace this line. For this again, I will select the pen tool. I will simply click right here, and then we will trace this line. Accordingly, you can adjust anything after you make the line and the curves. So you just need to hold down the option key and you can adjust easily. Maybe something like this from here, and right there we need to adjust this line straight. So let's see what we got. Alright, so this line needs to move up like this. Perfect. We'll rename this ML for the motion line 2, and I will again turn it off and go into the view, and I will clear the grid. Now we need to make this line. Now we need to make this line. So its start right from here. And then it will move something like this, and something like this one. Maybe we can adjust this from here. Right. So I will select pen tool and start drawing the shape. Also, I will turn it down the value from right there. I will start adjusting the lines something like this. Perfect. I will rename this ML motion line 3. So we have traced all the motion lines that we need to animate. And again, I'm using the same technique of trim path modifier. So you can go to here, or you can open this shape layer here and you can add the trim path right there. So I will open the property, set a keyframe on the end value. I will first figure out where it's come from right here. I will set a keyframe to the 0 and see if our lines follow it or not. So you can see our line starts from this direction, but we want to start it from this direction. There is a two solution. You can work with the start properties instead of the end, or you can open the shape layer and click on this little icon that say reverse path direction on. Now if we take the preview, so our line is going from here. I think we need to adjust this line a bit more. Maybe something like this. Perfect. So you can see the lines are coming from this direction, and at a certain value the lines are also stretching them from this direction. So for this purpose, first we will see where we need to end right here. I will open the properties of the start, set a keyframe, and I will go and see where it's end right here. So we'll crank up this. I will simply change the color so you can see the difference. Don't worry about the easing. I will round the caps again. Here we go. Perfect. Now I will duplicate this for 3 times. I will change this color to something brown. Change this color to maybe cyan or something. This one to something yellow. So we have understanding which lines we need to work. So for this, I will select the other line and start manipulating the points. Like this one. Also, I will clear the grid. I'll select the line 3 And it seems that this is the same copy of the other line. So I will delete this one since I have adjusted the path and duplicate this one more time. And this layer need to adjust the path something like this one. Maybe need to up this a bit. Right. Now let's change the color to match with the animation. First I will select this color. For this I will select this color right from here. For the second line I will also select a dark gray color. Something like this. So if we solo the layers, we can see here is the liner coming. The problem is they're all coming together. So we need to offset the layers. First I will select all three layers and trim them. Then I will go here and set offset layers, and I will offset them maybe a 2 frame. Before closing this dialog, I want to check the preview. Something like this. That's perfect. Also, we will select the top two layers and we will adjust the thickness to maybe 1.5. Right. Perfect. I'm happy with the results. Unsolo and let's turn off the idea and see if we're going on the right direction. Very well. Since we have completed the animation for these layers, so I will turn it off for now. Simply hiding them from the viewport of this layer panel. So I will turn on the layer idea layer again, and let's working on the motion line 2. Let's start right from here. Again, I'm using the same technique. I'm rounding the gaps and I'm adding a trim path modifier. I will set a keyframe at start and ending position. And if I press the letter U, I can have done something wrong. If we press the letter U, we have this line. I will turn off this line for a moment to see where we need to start. So we need to start from here. I think I need to move the first line. Something like this. So these lines start right from here. I will set the keyframe. For the end value, I will set 0 right here. Move these keyframe, maybe a 4 keyframe offset. Let's turn on. I will change the color so we can see what we are doing. All right, with this at the end, I will crank it to the 100%. So we have nothing at the end. Right. Don't worry about the easing, we will adjust them later. First one line, then I notice another line coming on the same directions. For that purpose, I will quickly duplicate this one and move it backward, maybe forward, something like this. I will also offset the start keyframes so it have a little different character, something like this. Perfect. I will turn it off the second layer and I want to figure out where the other lines are coming. I will duplicate it right here I will select this handle, move it up like this, then I'll go back few frames. I will adjust the curve something like this. So I'm referencing the blue line, and it is a good idea to change the color so and also the thickness property maybe 2.5. Okay. Now if we uncheck this, we can see the clear lines. And I will turn on off the reference so you can see what we got. All right. Now we have another red line. For this, I will again duplicate this one, change the color to something like this pink color, and let's adjust the handles. You can see we are just adjusting the handles, nothing special going on this animation, just we need to make the curve smooth as much as we can, something like this. So if I will turn off the reference layer and see what we got. Right. So again, I will select these three lines. I will trim them and then I will open the offset properties of the layer. You can use this shortcut or you can manually offset the layers, but I found this helpful. All right. Maybe 3 frames will work fine. So you need to write the frames and then click on this button so it will adjust. Perfect. We have only one motion line left, that is right this line. This will start from this direction from the beginning of the animation. So for this I will first hide this and see where it needs to start. I will turn on the reference layer and once again I will add the round caps and the trim path modifier. Set the start and end value. Right here I will again take the same keyframes. At the beginning I will set this to 0, and at the end I will make the start 100% and then offset these frames maybe 2 or 3 frames. Very well. So I will select this color right from here, and as you can see there is a 3 lines. So once again I will duplicate this one more time and let's adjust it for the pink, change the color to this bright, adjust the handles accordingly. Once again I will duplicate this and let's work on this animation and change the color to something like. Again I will select all the layers and trim them and then offset the layers. I will set 3. Everything is working fine. The only thing left is to adjust the easing and move all the lines behind the letters. I will turn off the reference and see. Perfect. I'm happy with the results. Just I need to change this to a darker gray color. Copy the property. That's fine. The other one. It. Now let's check a RAM preview. Perfect. We just want to also turn on these layers like this. So I will select all the layers right from here and move it under the letter W. Right. Everything looks great. Now let's work on the easing part. First, I will unlock everything and we will work on this letter, this full stop. Open the letter. Press the letter U to open all the keyframes. Select all, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease them, and or you can press the letter F9. Right. We have a perfect easy. This I will press the letter U to reveal all the keyframes. Select all of them, right click, keyframe assistant, and then easy ease them. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial. If you have any comments or any questions about this tutorial or any other After Effects related issues, you can simply write down in the comment section down below. Or if you found this video helpful, you can subscribe the channel, like the video, share with the community so we all have fun. And once again, if you need the project file and if you want to buy a coffee for me, you can go to my Patreon and you can subscribe to my After Effects tutorials so you can have access all the files and all the project files and the resources and some old tutorials that I have done in my past. So that's it for today. In the next episode, we will going to animate this animation. Until now, stay creative and be happy. My name is Muhammad Amir. I will see you in the next video.